You're listening to Stand Out Get Noticed, episode 221. Hello, Rockstar. Welcome to Stand Out Get Noticed. I'm Christina Canters, here with you for episode 221. Whew. Can you believe that we are at 1.4 million downloads? So good. And it's all because of you, Rockstar. I want to say a big thank you for listening, downloading, sharing. You know, it's my absolute privilege to be able to help you to build your confidence in yourself and communicate powerfully, and help you to create the most amazing career and life for yourself. You know, it warms my heart to no end. Okay, let's get into today's podcast. First up, I want you to think about something you really, really want. Now, this could be anything from a new pair of shoes to a Mercedes car, or perhaps it's a promotion. Perhaps you want to lose 10 kilos or do a TED Talk or go on a gorgeous vacation. Pick something. You got it? Okay, now I want you to think about how intentional have you been in terms of achieving it? How much time do you spend thinking about it, talking about it, writing about it, and so on? If your answer is not much or not at all, I have some news for you. It's probably not going to happen. Why? You're about to find out in this episode. And we're talking about how to use the power of manifesting to get what you want. I know it sounds crazy, right? It sounds like this big, crazy idea. But what you're about to learn is a powerful way to create a life, a career, and the relationships that you love. And my goal for this episode is for you to walk away feeling empowered and inspired to start creating more good stuff in your life. Okay? Now, if you're thinking, Christina, this all sounds a little bit woo-woo, just hear me out, okay? My guest is going to break it down for you step by step. No crystals or dream catchers or channeling required, okay? So let's meet our very special guest this week. His name is Jason Snadden, and his company is called The Abundance Activator. What a fantastic name. We met at a networking event recently, and we both, really connected, and I was like, I've got to get you on the show. So in this conversation, Jason explains what the terms abundance and manifesting actually mean, and he shares his own story of how he implemented manifesting techniques and what he created in his own life. And this was even before he considered himself to be a spiritual person. Jason also shares some simple steps we can all take to start manifesting the things we want. And as you're about to find out, you don't have to be super spiritual. Anyone can do this, and it works for everyone, okay? So, are you ready to start creating more of the things you want? Let's meet the wonderful Jason Snadden.
We're all inherently abundant, meaning that we all can create what we want in our lives. We can have great health, we can have great well-being, we can live our lives on purpose, we can bring in the material things that we want to create into our experience. We have the ability to create exactly what we want if we so choose. But what happens is most of us are thinking about what we do not want. And when we can shift our focus onto what we do want, that's the starting point to start creating what we do want. And we all have that inherent ability within us to start creating the focus on what we truly want. And that's what I do. I help my clients really tap into what that is.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll go into, how you do that, in a moment. But I want to hear how you got into this. Why are you particularly, passionate about helping people create more abundance in their lives?
Yeah. So it started back in 2004. I was newly in property. I was I'd been there for about a year, and I was one of the worst performers. And I was not happy with that. I was not happy with being one of the poor performers. And a mortgage broker gave me a book called The Magician's Way by William Whitecloud. And in that book, it talked about essentially your focus creates your reality. And there was this beautiful first chapter lesson about how a magic golf lesson. It was how most people when they're playing golf are focused on how they're holding the club, how they're standing, but they're forgetting where they want that ball to actually go to. And when we have clear focus, our natural ability actually kicks in to get the ball where we want it to go. And that was a great analogy for life, and it totally resonated with me. And also in this book, it talked about manifesting car parks. Now, I was already doing that. I don't know how I did it, but I always had this expectation.
You mean getting a car park?
Getting a car park, yeah. And I always get car parks. I always had, and because I had this absolute expectation that I'd always get a car park, and always they showed up. And I thought, okay, I know what I do there. I just 100% believe that I'm going to get a car park in the most convenient location. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. And so the book resonated with me, but I knew there was way more to it than just that. So
can I just ask, why were you one of the worst performers?
Well, that's what I found out. So
Okay.
so essentially I went and started studying these teachings, and I first of all learnt that we're intuitive beings, that we all have an intuition, and that when we access our intuition, we're incredibly powerful. And when we're tapping into our intuition and we're creating from that place, we're even more powerful. So I learnt how to start getting clear on what I wanted to create in my experience. But I also learnt that we all have limiting beliefs, limiting paradigms, and most of those are actually locked in by the time we're 7 years of age. And from that, I learned what was playing out for me. And in that work environment, one of my biggest behaviours was I play insignificant. I play small, and that was very much showing up in that work environment because I felt it was a very blokey environment, and I felt less than. I made up that I was less than the guys that I was working with, so therefore I showed up less than. And I also showed up, I was showing up not inauthentically to my clients because I thought I had to be something else. I wasn't showing up as my authentic self. And when I could see that, I was like, wow, that's what's going on. I was unconscious to it.
Can you give me a specific example of your behaviour that wasn't authentic to you?
So, well, I'm a gay man, so I was closeted at work, but completely out in my personal life, but I did not share my personal life in my work environment. So that was a big thing. And it was a big wound I had to work through, and healings that I worked through over time with that. So I turned, when I came back from the original coursework, I showed up 100% owning who I was, my authentic self. I even changed what I was wearing. They all wore very dark suits and white shirts and ties. I lost the tie, started wearing coloured shirts, and I just showed up truly myself. No, there's no point in trying to be someone I'm not. I'm me.
Yep.
And I showed up as me and felt and showed up back in my power, my personal power, and reclaimed my confidence and my belief in myself. And through the work that I did, I got very clear in my vision. With what I learned to do was create my land of abundance. I got very clear on what I wanted to create in my life. And part of my land of abundance was to be the top consultant for that company, because I'd been top before in previous sales roles. So I knew what that was like. I wanted to be the top consultant for that company, but I actually, for the first time, could see that I actually wanted to have my own business within that. I also got clear that I was single at the time. I wanted to have a beautiful relationship. And I got very clear on some of the material things that I wanted to create. I wanted a beautiful penthouse apartment. I wanted a portfolio of properties because I was involved in property, so investment property particularly. I wanted to have a Mercedes convertible. I got very clear on those material things that I wanted to draw forth because I could see that it was possible. Now, within 9 months, so I really committed to the work, committed to the process.
And that transformation in your mind, you said that you were doing this coursework. How long did it take for you to create this internal transformation?
Okay, so I read the book at the end of 2004, went and did the initial coursework in the February of 2005. That's where all the real learnings happened.
Yep.
And got really clear on what I wanted in my life for the first time. Never done that before, and became aware of my limiting beliefs, limiting behaviours that were showing up in relation to my life that I could see at the time. And it's still a journey. It's still an ongoing journey. 15 years later or 20 years later, however long it is, and and I got really clear on it. So I started just operating from this place, using my intuition, creating space to keep connecting in with what I wanted from my intuitive self, from my higher self, and connecting in intuitively. Well, what steps are there for me to take? Because we always have the answers within. We always intuitively have the answers within. So I was using my intuition through creating space to get the next steps, and to use my intuition to make decisions.
When you say creating space, what do you mean by that?
So when I say creating space, the best way to probably describe that for me is a meditation. But in those days, it was just very much about going in and just imagining what I wanted. So connecting in, okay, I'm choosing to be the top consultant. What is here for me? Connecting in from my heart. Okay, I really love that idea of being the top consultant for this company. What's there for me to do? And then I'd get inspired ideas. And I learned in the sales role, in the sales environment, that I must be 100% aligned also with what I was doing. So believing in the product that I was selling. So I was selling investment product. I had to 100% believe in the projects that I was representing, 100% believe in myself. And then from that place, I knew clients would come forth. If I was out of alignment in any of those areas, well, then the clients didn't show up, because that's the energy that I'm putting out. And so I really started to learn how to harness that as well, coupled with me showing up as my authentic self. So within 9 months, I was the top consultant for that company. But as that was evolving, I was offered the opportunity to go and set up my own a company under the umbrella of another company, which I didn't have to fund. It was funded by them. And that was when my real estate business, Love Property, I founded. And so that had landed because I'd really got aligned to that as well. So they were my first real grounded experiences of my vision unfolding, of my what I'd connected into manifesting.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah.
And was there a moment where you went, oh my God, it's working?
Well, no, I didn't really. It just sort of happened. But I had a wow moment 5 years later. It was 2010. I was in my renovated apartment in Sydney, penthouse apartment. We'd just renovated it. I lived there with my partner, and I had a BMW convertible downstairs. I actually owned my business at that point through things that had unfolded for me to acquire it. I had a portfolio of investment properties. Everything that I had set out to achieve on my vision, my original Land of Abundance vision, had unfolded. And I was like, I've got goosebumps as I'm sharing this. I was like, wow, I can't believe this is all unfolded. I set out to achieve this 5 years ago, and here it is, it's all unfolded for me. Now, it actually sent me into a bit of a flatline, because I was like, wow, well, what's next? What's next? Because I hadn't actually seen beyond that.
Right, so it's like you'd achieved a goal and then weren't sure what to do afterwards.
I achieved my massive goal.
It's like an Olympian getting a gold medal, and they're getting really depressed after, because they're like, well, I've achieved the ultimate goal for an athlete. Now what?
Yeah.
So what'd you do?
Well, I continued to run my business the way I had been running it, aligning myself to the projects that I was representing, trusting that clients would come in, but and allowing the business to grow. But there was a niggle going on. I felt that I didn't have that big thing to achieve anymore. I was very financially doing well and financially building my wealth and continue to do that. But there was something that wasn't quite there, and I didn't unlock. And it took 2014 came, and I got married in New Zealand because we could, and it was a beautiful start to the year. But not long after that, my mum got diagnosed with terminal cancer, and so I was able to take a big length of time off from my business and go and look after her through that period. And through that time, I committed to her. I said, I'm going to do something more than what I'm doing. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to do something more than I'm doing, because she was going, and only 67. And I'm like, wow, I want to make sure I'm maximizing this time here. And so after coming back from looking after Mum, I was always interested in the spiritual side of it, but I wasn't really fully, I was curious and open, but I just practiced what I did to manifest material things or material outcomes. But I would go and see this beautiful woman who did healings on me, energetic healings, and I went and saw Rosemary when I came back from New Zealand looking after my mum, and she did this healing on me, and she said, "Oh, Jason, I've got some channeled information that wants to come through for you. Are you okay if I let this message come through for you?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, bring it on." And so she's an 80-year-old lady. She drops down out of her, drops down, and this big, deep voice comes out through her. "Hello, my name is Master Corton. I'm here to tell you that you are here to help people with abundance. Now, you are already doing this whether you know it or not." And he gave some examples of situations and things I'd said that had impacted people. And I was like, "Oh, okay." He said, "Now, you are here to help people with abundance. Now, if you so choose to continue to do that, we will support you all along the way."
Wait, who's we?
The realms. The realms. Okay,
that's the universe.
The universe, realms,
okay.
Energy, whatever, however you want to source, however you want to explain it. He said that all you have to do is commit to us, and we will support you. Do not commit to us now, though, because it is coming up to your festive season, because it was December, and I was still recovering from Mum. And he said, "But when you commit to us, we will support you." And so on New Year's Eve, I'm on the balcony. I'd had many champagnes. And I said, "Okay, I commit. I don't know what I'm committing to, but I commit to whatever it is." And things just have continued to show up. And so the first thing that showed up was I joined a mastermind group. I got very clear, a mastermind coaching group with a coach running it. And I got very clear that I was to help people, teach people what I knew about abundance. And started running abundance. I was very involved in networking, in the networking groups in Sydney, and I started running breakfasts about abundance breakfasts, just as for my friends who wanted to come for free. And I just shared what I knew and created space for them to start tapping into what they wanted. So that was the starting point, and then that evolved into working with people one-on-one.
Hey Rockstar, I want to take a quick break to let you know the C Method Academy is launching in October this year. Now, I'm so excited for this. If you love this podcast and you want help and support in implementing what you learn, then the Academy is totally for you, my friend. So what is it? It's my monthly members-only training and accountability program to help you take your communication, public speaking, and leadership skills to the next level. In this program, you get access to in-depth training where we take the concepts from this podcast and we go deeper. We study them and we implement them. You also get access to webinars and coaching calls where you have direct access to me to ask questions and to be coached. And you'll be part of a passionate community of like-minded people who are there to support you in your journey of accelerated growth. Now, this is an incredible opportunity for you to learn how to feel good within yourself, how to speak up at work, build your confidence, and take your career to the next level for a very affordable monthly investment. So for more information, make sure you sign up at thecmethod.com/join. The link will also be in the description of this podcast in your app. When you sign up, you'll be put on the waitlist where you'll be first to be notified when the Academy launches and to get access to early bird member rates as well. That link again, thecmethod.com/join. Okay, let's get back to the show. Do we have to be really spiritual and woo-woo in order to manifest great things?
Not at all. Not at all.
So let's take someone who's never meditated before, but they're interested in personal growth and professional development, and they want to get to that next level, whether it's in their business or their career, but they're a bit like, I don't know, talking about like Mercury retrograde and cycle of the moons. It's all a little bit too woo-woo. Yeah. Can we still manifest?
Absolutely.
So where does it start?
It starts with what gives you joy. It
Okay.
starts with what gives you joy.
I love that.
Yeah. So the more that you can feel joyful for what you are doing, the more you're in alignment with what you are meant to be doing.
Okay.
So if it gives you joy, keep moving towards that.
Right. And is this in what area of our life?
So if we're talking about purposeful stuff, if your work gives you joy, if you're doing what you love, that's a key indicator that you're exactly on track. You're exactly doing what you're meant to be doing, right? If it's not giving you joy, if it gives you complete dissatisfaction, well, there's your key indicator that you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. And what I would say is to just create space. You don't have to go into meditation. I mean, it's powerful, but get a journal out and start writing. What would I love to be doing? What gives me joy? What has you will have had key indicators through your life around what you're meant to be doing, things that you're drawn to continually, what lights you up.
So can I give you an example? So I love dancing. I love to dance. It brings me so much joy. I'll dance in the kitchen while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. I just dance. But I'm not going to do that as a career.
No, that
So
gives you joy.
Yeah.
And so dancing is like your form of meditation. It brings you into a state of presence.
Right.
So and joy. And when you are in a state of presence and joy, you're accessing your higher self. You're accessing your intuition. And you can, if you could set an intention before you start dancing, I'd like to have some information about where I want to take my business.
Okay, so that's a really interesting point because I've never thought about those sort of joy-inducing or flow activities that we do as using them as a way to access our higher self. So, and something that I have read and learned a lot about is setting intentions before activities. And I have the best intentions to do that, but I always forget. I always forget to do it. So take me through again how you would set an intention before a flow activity. So it could be dancing or drawing or going for a run even.
Yeah, or just walking in nature or
doing yoga, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. So you just you set an intention. I choose to see, or there's two statements. An I choose statement or an I am statement.
Okay.
So an I am is owning who you are now. So I am powerful beyond measure, or I am a leader in my business, or I am a successful business person, whatever it is. That's your I am statement. Or I choose to see my business at its most expansive. I choose to see my business at its most abundant. I choose to see my financial abundance. I choose to see my financial abundance. I choose to allow my financial abundance to come forth. So you either make those I am or I choose statements. They're incredibly powerful because you are literally choosing them, or you are stating that they are here now.
So you do that before an activity. Okay.
Before an activity. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And then when you're doing your activity, you're coming into a state of presence. If it's an activity that gives you joy. If you do yoga because you just want to get fit and you're doing it for the fitness side of it. So don't do it for
not so much joy.
Not joy. Do it for if it's giving you joy. Like for
Right.
you, dancing. So, I choose to see my business at its most abundant. And then you dancing and you enjoy it, and then you're allowing the ideas to come forth. Okay? And then just try it out. And then make sure you've got some pen and paper handy nearby and just see what you get. Because you might need to come out of the dancing and come back and okay, what's here? What's here for me?
Can you ask a question?
You can, absolutely. So if you're wanting an answer on something, again, whatever you're doing to create space for presence, your answers will always be there. Now, the access to that energetically in your physical body is your heart. Your heart is your connection to all. Love comes from heart. Love connects us all. So if you want to ask something, your intuition, if you want to fast track your intuition, just put your hand on your heart and just allow your heart, and you can even say hello heart, or I love you heart, or I'm asking you to open up heart. Yep. And then you'll feel it. Give it a go. Try it now. Put your hand.
I'm doing it right now.
Feel the energy.
Hello,
can you feel
heart.
it? Can you feel it?
There's a beautiful meditation that I love. I found it on Insight Timer, and it's called Self-Love and Listening to Yourself. And in the meditation, the lady, her name's Sarah Blondin, I think her name is.
Oh yes, I've listened to hers.
She says, I love you, I'm listening. And you repeat that, I love you, I'm listening. And the first time I listened to that meditation, I felt it in my heart.
Yeah.
And I cried.
Yeah.
I cried. And it was just And it's so hard to describe why, because I wasn't sad. Like it was just this deep, loving connection to myself, which we often forget. Like it's so easy to lose, like to get caught up in the day-to-day stresses and, little things that happen, and we just lose that connection with, ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I love that about, because, you might be listening thinking, well, my work doesn't bring me joy. What do I do about that? What if I don't know what I want to do, what my next step is? So would you suggest that people go and do more, activities outside work that bring them joy, and then that will help to connect you to yourself?
Absolutely. The more you can, so you might be in a job, but you need to be in that job to earn money. We're in this environment where we need to make money, so that's fine. But the more you're creating space to give yourself states of presence, and that's through joy, the more you're opening yourself up to start creating what you truly want and allow the inspired ideas. You see, the problem with it being stuck in the things that you don't want, and you're talking about what you don't want, or you're thinking about what you don't want, well, guess what? You get more of what you don't want.
Because you're focusing on
that. You're focusing on what you don't want.
A lot of people, when they come to me, that like if they're struggling with the communicating at work, or they get really anxious when public speaking, they'll say things like, I don't want to forget my words. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to do, and they focus on what they don't want, which is, as you're saying, that's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
So does this work for everyone?
Absolutely. We're all the same. I'm no more, just because I channel doesn't mean I'm any more connected. It's just that I've opened myself up. We all have the ability to be incredibly powerful. We all have the ability to draw forth what we would love in our experience. We all do. We all have it. We all have it, and it's joy. We're all connected by love. We all have the ability to love. And that's such a blessing, as it, that love is such a powerful emotion. We're so blessed to experience that love and joy. That's a frequency, the highest frequency. And the other one is gratitude. Okay, so gratitude, and bringing a practice of gratitude in is incredibly powerful.
How do you practice gratitude?
So I practice gratitude, my partner and I, every evening. We write 5 things down, and then we share what we've received. This is at the end of each day. This is actually a new process for us, and it's been incredibly powerful because it also gives us a beautiful way to end the day, and also sharing with each other what we've experienced through the day. But you don't have to share it. You can do it individually. And until that point, I was just doing my gratitude myself. And the other thing that I do, because it's quite habitual, is I'm thinking of things that I'm grateful for throughout the day. I'm so grateful for that car park. I'm so grateful that I get to drive my beautiful car. I'm so grateful for my beautiful house. I'm so grateful for my health and well-being, and I'm so grateful for how vital and well I feel. I'm so grateful I get to meet wonderful people like you. It's just the more you can bring that into, and as often, it becomes habit. And then the more you're in that state of gratitude, the more things that will show up that give you more reasons to be grateful. It's incredibly powerful. It's a very high frequency to be in.
So what's the difference, Jason, between, like, how do we know if our manifesting is working, or if it's just coincidence, or just a result of our hard work that we're putting in?
So we create the whole of our reality with love and wisdom. Okay, so meaning we also, things that show up that we don't like, we've actually created that because of our thinking. But if we're also unconsciously creating. We're unconsciously creating what we want as well. So you just think you might want a new car, for example, and you might be driving and think, oh, I love that car. I love that model car. That's putting you into the frequency of just because you love that car, or you love that suburb. I love that, living in that area. It's so beautiful. You're starting putting yourself in that frequency of living in a particular. Oh, I love that person's apartment. I'd love something like that. Start. You just have. That's our human behavior. So we're actually manifesting all the time. But we're also, the flip side of it is we're manifesting what we don't want. We think, I don't like this. I hate that. I can't. I can't stand that. And this person does that. And so then, when we're in the negative state, we're also bringing more of that in. So there's a battle that goes on energetically when we've got both going on. So the more we can give ourselves space, as I said, state of presence, and start focusing on what we want, the more powerful we are, and the more likely we are to draw it forth
Awesome. And you know what I love about this? It doesn't cost any money to do.
Oh.
Anyone can do it. It just takes you, you just need to create that little bit of time for yourself to create that space. Like you said.
Yeah,
and I've been building up my meditation practice each day. I started at 3 minutes a day. Then I went up to 5 and then 10. And now I do 20 minutes in the morning.
Brilliant.
And maybe 15 minutes before I go to sleep at night. And that's become normal for me.
Brilliant.
And I mean, when I used to think I can't meditate. Like for me, CrossFit was meditation because it was the only time in my day where I was in that flow, focused on one thing. And I was like, oh, I can't meditate. Yeah. But now I love it. Yeah. It's that peaceful, beautiful time of the day just for myself. Yeah. And I have been practicing, thinking about, what do I want to create in my life? What does my future look like as well? Because I think it's very easy to just get caught in the day-to-day and like you said, thinking about what we don't want or everything that's going wrong in our lives. Yeah. So that's beautiful inspiration there to continue to shift that focus. Yeah. Yeah.
One other thing I'd say is if you've got negative thoughts or feelings going on, give them some space sometimes. Sometimes it's about feeling into what's actually going on. If you're in fear, for example, go and feel where is it? Where is that in my body? Where do I feel it? And what does it look like? And the more you face into it, the more you'll actually release it because you're facing into it. But when you resist it, when you push it away, what we resist persists. So, and most of us want to push away the icky stuff. But if we keep pushing it away and not facing into it, it's going to keep showing up. And
so we drink or we
to numb ourselves,
eat. We numb ourselves so we don't have to feel that. So that it's a courageous step to say, I'm not going to have that wine because I'm feeling stressed or anxious. I'm just going to sit with that feeling.
Sit with it and be okay with sitting with it. And you work through it. I have this saying, well, it's not my saying, it's not from me, but this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Because everything does. But the more we face into it, the more we'll move through it.
Love it. Well, Jason, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Can you share where people can connect with you if they want to get in touch?
Sure. Well, my website is www.jasonsnadden.com, and you can also find me on Facebook, Jason Snadden, the Abundance Activator. I have a Land of Abundance Activation group, which is a free group which you can join on Facebook, and I post videos, and I have a carpool karaoke where whenever I get a little download of information, I'll share that from the car usually. And I also have a group coaching that's new. We've just run a pilot program. I've joined forces with one of my colleagues on that, and that's a fortnightly event which is via Zoom, so anyone can dial in from wherever. And the last group we did was incredibly powerful. We run them every fortnight, and the first two you can come and try out for free. And if you sign up, you get all the lessons, the recorded lessons that we've already done, so that you've got the foundation lessons there. And then if you want to carry on, it's just a monthly subscription. It's a membership of $97 Australian a month. So the group coaching is incredibly powerful because we create space. Instant healings happen. We create space for healing, but we also create space for you to connect with what you want. People bring their whatever's going on for them to the group. But what ends up happening is the group energy. You actually end up tapping into your own intuitive abilities in service to everybody in the group, and it's incredibly powerful.
Wonderful. Oh, well, that sounds amazing, and I'm going to check that out as well. Thanks so much again, Jason.
Thanks, Christina.
A huge thank you to Jason Snadden for being such an amazing guest on the show this week. Now, we did go deeper into his story, which I didn't include here because I do like to keep this podcast to around 30 minutes. So you can go to the show notes to see the raw, uncut video version of this interview. I will also link to all the books, resources, and where you can connect with Jason in the show notes at thecmethod.com/221. So I hope you have an idea of what you want to manifest. You know what I want to manifest? I'm manifesting 1,000 members in the C Method Academy and a thriving community of people who are all helping each other to achieve their goals. I'm picturing that, and it's amazing. And you know what's going to help me get there? That's right. If you sign up for the waitlist at thecmethod.com/join. When you do that, I'll send you more info on the program and you'll be the first to be notified once we launch. So excited. Can't wait. Can't wait to have you in there. All right, thanks for spending some time with me today, Rockstar. Keep on being awesome. I'm Christina Canters, and this has been Stand Out, Get Noticed.